Okay, well, hello everyone. My name is Carl Zimmerman, for those of you I haven't met. I'm a research scientist here at RESEAU, and I'm also a PhD candidate at UBC in chemical and biological engineering, and I'll be the moderator for today. So it's my pleasure to welcome you to the first session of the new RESEAU Open Circle webinar series. So the Open Circle webinars are designed to allow partners to contribute towards the rural innovation projects that we're all involved with, and to develop broader and richer perspectives and provide feedback on emerging solutions to drinking water health and improve them before manufacturing or construction has even begun. So RESEAU's the Open Circle is not about promoting products or brands or specific award-winning designs, but it's to encourage like kind of refining the problem definition and brainstorming new ways of how this can help the water industry better serve rural communities. So we're hoping to host these about monthly-ish, depending on speaker availability. So it'll be about an hour today from noon until 1. And we'll start, generally the format, we're gonna start with about a 30-minute presentation by the guest speaker, followed by an optional kind of 30 minutes or open or small group discussion. We got a lot of people in here today, so I think this will be great. We'll be able to break into some smaller groups. So we'll start the meeting on the hour or as soon as we hit 15 participants, which we're well clear of now. So thanks everyone for coming. And presentations will be recorded and made available upon request. So this is already going for the recording. So I guess we had some issues with bandwidth when we were testing this out. So please try to stay muted, and there'll be a couple points where we're going to ask you to turn your video off during the presentation, because they'll be showing a video and just the bandwidth didn't quite work out. So. But we'll turn the videos back on for the discussion section. So please stay muted and send any questions to the chat box. And also importantly, after today's event, we're going to send up an optional follow-up survey. So this isn't like a, rate how great this session was. There is going to be a couple questions about feedback for this augmented reality in the water industry. So if you didn't get a chance to say something during the session today, there'll be some boxes there that you can fill in and share that information with us. So on to today, we have the pleasure of having Transform Interactive, who's a RESEAU partner, to launch the Open Circle series. And I'd like to invite Majid to introduce them.
Thanks, Carl. Good day, everybody. And so great to see many familiar faces. During the pandemics, we haven't had a chance really to see everybody in person. So it's wonderful to see everybody who joined. Just as a recap, everybody knows about RESEAU, but as a way of brief introduction, our goal is to mobilize innovation in community health and drinking water quality. And the approach is really by discarding what we call conventional paradigms and instead embracing a more culturally appropriate model that lies at the intersection of engineering, but also art and folklore. What it means is it just involves capturing the stories and conversations and acknowledging history, applying creative and practical approaches to innovation. As we can all appreciate, such innovative strategies are best developed collaboratively, relying on input from experts across the water sector. So the intention of the RESEAU Open Circle, as Carl mentioned, is really to share new ideas and get feedback from our water partners. Now, the COVID pandemic has impacted many aspects of our lives. Relevant to us particularly, it created barriers to the work that we do with rural and indigenous communities. As project leaders, contractors, engineers faced reduced travel, and local leaders have been preoccupied with their pandemic responses, and many communities have been dealing with outbreaks and responses that they need to have to the pandemics. But at the same time, it also created opportunities to adapt, to build resiliency in the innovation process. So today's presentation and talk is really an example of that. And we are fortunate that Dan Gamsby's team at Transform Interactive They partner with RESEAU, and we can already see the valuable contribution that they bring to the rural water industry. So with that, I'm so fortunate to invite Dan and his colleague to the stage, or virtual stage, to share their story. And Dan is co-founder and owner of Transform Interactive. Transform Interactive is an XR solution provider that specializes in interactive 3D media services and digital transformative strategies. They work with customers and partners by leveraging AR or augmented reality, VR or virtual reality, and mixed reality technology solutions for industrial and workforce training, sales, marketing, and simulation. They offer different types of platform services for connecting machine data, and they integrate with other softwares and systems. In general, they work with and leverage 3D engineering CAD data to create interactive applications that allow people to interact and utilize 3D engineering data when equipment or product is not even available. So with that brief introduction, I'm going to pass the mic and the stage to Dan and his colleagues to share their story. Dan, to you.
Awesome, thank you. It's really great to be here. It's really great to meet all of you, all the partners out there. It's pretty awesome to see so many people on the call. Step one. And I am coming to you today from just west of Sudbury. So you want to talk about cold weather? It was a nice balmy -30 here this morning, and it's about -20 now. So it's really warmed up. It's just beautiful. But when it's -30, it's always sunny, right? So you got to always look at the bright side. So today with me is our business development manager, creative opportunities, Josie, our interactive specialist, Sergio. He kind of helps with human interaction for all of the projects that we do. And what we really want to do today is, I'll give you a quick overview of who we are. I don't want to focus too much on that. Josie's going to talk about our ongoing partnership with RESEAU, which has just been so much fun and so great to work with everybody there, as well as their engineering partners and everybody else. And that's been just an awesome fun to work in 2020. Then we want to talk about some of the work that we've been doing with RESEAU, and also show other examples of what's being done as far as our technology. We just want to do a really good show and tell to kind of get everybody's imagination kind of going. And because of that, I'm going to shut my camera off actually, just so that I've got bandwidth, because we're going to show a lot of videos here. So just bear with me 1 second. Oh, it looks like I'm leaving my camera on, so that's fine. Yeah, I'll leave mine on, but if you guys can turn yours off, that's great. So there we go. So we've been around for quite a long time. For a company that works on, AR, VR, and these kind of newer technologies, we've been doing this for about 8-9 years now. We're now located in North Bay. Our office closed right now because of COVID, but we actually are located inside Candor College's Research and Innovation Center called iCamp in North Bay, Ontario. We just moved the office there from Southern Ontario, but Josie and Sergio are in Southern Ontario, and I'm in Northern Ontario. So we are we're covering quite a good geographical region. And as was mentioned in our introduction, what we really focus on is connecting the digital and physical world. And we do that with whatever data our customers can provide to us. And what we do is we leverage that data to create and help customers just visualize data, really, without making it sound too complex. Anything we can do to help visualize data and make it easier for people to train and learn about your process, your product, your solution, anything where it's very logistically difficult. And I just wanted to play a video of a few snapshots of some of the things that we've been doing over the past several years.
Sorry, Dan, is there meant to be audio with this?
Okay. So as I mentioned, there's four main things that we focus on when it comes to our company in general. Communication, training that's interactive, that people can actually do the training to learn the training. Remote training, especially in times of where we're at right now. I think everybody's tired of saying the word COVID, but remote training where we do not have to be in the same location, of course, but still be able to do that training in a remote, in a visual kind of way. And IoT visualization, and the term IoT means Internet of Things, industrial Internet of Things. And that just really means data. So if you have equipment or machinery and that equipment or machinery can actually capture data, we can access that data and we use it to help train, help inform, help visualize the data. I'll turn it over now to Josie, and she's going to talk a little bit about our partnership with RESEAU so far.
Great, thanks, Dan, and good afternoon, everyone. We are just thrilled to be your guests here today as we kick off your first Open Circle webinar series featuring augmented reality in the water treatment industry. As mentioned, I'm Josie Badacci. I am responsible for business development here and strategic partnerships, and our partnership began just over a year ago, and I think we are just scratching the surface with two very successful projects. We are the pioneers at introducing augmented reality to the water treatment industry. We have been working on this pilot, and it's a collaborative program between Transform Interactive and RESEAU and other industry partners. It's a long-term partnership, and we are learning from each other. We are designing customized solutions that will truly work in the rural communities, and it requires the acceptance of water operators who will be in charge of maintaining and optimizing water systems, as well as community leaders and members. This long-term partnership is developing and designing tools to provide remote operations and support capabilities, superimposing live data on the AR to allow operators and engineers to remotely monitor, troubleshoot, and make necessary adjustments to plant operations. Designing innovative platforms will enhance the immersive experience and connectivity among representatives and value chain partners, talent, and community leaders. This is a key component to our Community Circle platform. Yeah, we're all tired of COVID, but it has really highlighted the need for enhancing and transforming contactless experiences. Our focus is not just to throw technology to our partner communities. It's about driving the right experience so we can track what the experience looks like beforehand, and we can continue to identify gaps and continuous improvements to the process. The platform can be used as part of operator training programs, allowing participants to experience different types of treatment solutions during a time where we can't travel. It can often be difficult to envision system design builds to ensure that they meet the desired criteria and to train operators on customized systems before they are built. Facilitating experience-based discussions as people are able to walk through plants, interact with equipment, and provide insight and feedback before the plant is fabricated. We developed a prototype app that was piloted over at the Yukon University. which provided students with immersive exposure to various water and wastewater environments. At this point, I'd like to introduce to you Sergio, and he's going to talk to you further about this project.
Hey everybody. So thanks Josie for the introduction. So basically all I wanted to say is that, well, first off, I'm really excited to be here today to speak to you and show you guys a clip of RESEAU's OWL application. To just jump things off, I just wanted to do an overview of what RESEAU OWL is. And RESEAU's operators walkthrough lab is essentially an augmented reality application for assistive training. So this application will cover several modules, and it is being used to provide offsite assistance in installation and in startup training for operators in these water treatment plants. We have currently 2 successful projects that are live at the moment. The first one is the Skillset water treatment plant, and it's the one that you're going to see most of in this video. So you can go ahead and start the video. So once we go through the title screens, you're going to get a PPE required when on site screen, so you have an understanding of what you need to wear. Then we're going to select the facility size. So you can go tabletop, half size, full size, all depending on the environment you're in. For example, if you were in a classroom, you could place it right on top of your desk. Then we're going to use the camera on the phone to look for a flat surface, and we're going to place the water treatment plant down. We're going to go to a series of tutorial screens so you know how to use the app, and then we're going to go ahead and walk right into the plant. Once you walk in, you're going to see a number of hotspots. These blue hotspots highlight the main features of the water treatment plant. Once you walk up to the hotspot and you tap on it, which you will see in a second, you're going to get a check mark indicating that you have viewed this feature. You will also get a little blurb at the top and an image that helps you understand the job of this piece of equipment. We also have a training checklist feature, which helps you visualize what you have seen and what you still need to familiarize yourself with better. This is divided into the 3 main rooms of the water treatment plant. As you can see here, you are basically in the space as if you were in the actual plant, and you are actually moving physically with using the camera as just kind of like a goggles. So you're kind of moving around the phone and you're visualizing all of this. There is also a training scenario, which helps you select different scenarios depending on what you are training yourself on. For example, if you were to be learning about how the HMI works, you could have a specific scenario for that. This next portion of the app, it's talking about the Skillset water treatment plant, and it starts very similar to the Skillset one, where you select the size of the plant, then you place it down, and then you go ahead and start your general overview. I just wanted to point out that all of the technology that's being used to make this happen, it's nothing more than a mobile device. So you could have your personal smartphone or a tablet, and that's basically all you need to make this happen. As far as the learning curve, it's very simple. We made sure to make this really simple to understand, so you would need mere minutes to get this working. Other than that, there you can't really hear in the video because obviously bandwidth issues, but every single hotspot, not only does it have a blurb and a indication of what helps you understand what the object, the piece of equipment does, but there's also audio with all of those. So in case you have anybody that can't really read the font because it's too small, or for any reason, you have that audio cue to help you understand what it is that it's being said. And that is basically, that's all we have for the RESEAU OWL.
Awesome. Thanks, Sergio. So I guess, you know, the next step we want to do is kind of talk about and educate everybody on the call is how are these experiences actually put together? So I wanted to kind of give a little bit of an overview of what you're kind of seeing here and what goes into creating one of these applications. So everything that we do starts with engineering data. By starting with engineering data, we know that the data is accurate. We know that it's we have control over what revision that data is. If revisions need to be updated, it can always be related back to the master model, so on and so forth. So the basis of everything that we do is starting with CAD data. We also work with the physical water treatment plant. We grab as many photos as possible to make sure that the artwork that we create is accurate. And in some examples that we're going to show, and what we eventually are going to be doing with RESEAU, is also integrating augmented reality with real world equipment. And we're going to show you some examples of that as well shortly. One thing that we can work with as well is equipment sensors. So if the water treatment plant has any sensors built in, we can actually work with that data, and we can bring that data into the application on a dashboard so that you can actually see exactly what's going on in the water treatment plant without physically having to be there. And because we're able to capture that data over time, we can actually start to build analytics on how the plant might be operating, if there's, as far as optimizations, deficiencies, problems, trends that you might see, so on and so forth. And all of these items can be integrated into the OWL AR application, or any application that we build on this platform. As far as who can retain the information, what's great about the development platform that we use is that we can, whether you have a phone or a tablet, which is what pretty much all of us have, that can be used as a way to absorb the information. So the video that Sergio was talking about is all meant to run on either an iPhone or Android phone or tablet. So, which is great because everybody has one. So you simply install the application and you're instantly learning about the specific water treatment plant. But once we move into times where we can get back to a bit of a sense of normal, we can use headsets such as VR and augmented reality headsets. We can also use just simple laptops and desktops as well to retain information. So that's something that we're always conscious of, is we want to pick the hardware device that best suits the solution. Then finally, future connectivity. So we know that connectivity in a lot of remote communities is a challenge right now. That's probably one of the biggest challenges right now. So right now we're focusing on applications that are self-contained. The data is all within the application. So worst case, for somebody to get the application on their device, we can either ship them out a USB key, or we can do a one-time upload if connectivity is an issue. But with companies like Tesla and SpaceX launching their satellite internet technology, Starlink, and that kind of thing, future connectivity needs are going to actually start to reduce, and we're going to see more and more people be able to have access to broadband data, which is going to further match the path that we're taking forward with these kinds of technologies. So how do we make this stuff? What goes into it? And we wanted to kind of touch base on not only what goes into it, but how can future graduates, so on and so forth, develop use the skill sets that they've acquired to help on this side of digital transformation inside the industry. So again, engineering data, whether that is CAD, SolidWorks, Autodesk, any kind of CAD data. Animations, so we create animations of actual processes for training. So say replacing a UV bulb, we can create that animation. Audio, so whether that's voiceover or that's actual sound from the machinery, we can attach it to objects and have that kind of part of the application. The simulation side of things, so I don't know if you caught in the first example, but we do have HMI screens. We could actually simulate operation of the HMI if it's something that somebody needs to learn how to use before they start to use the real world equipment to do that training. And then user interface is very important, creating an application that is very easy for people to use, whether you're technical or not technical, whether you're wearing gloves or you're on the job and you need a free hand. We're always very conscious about how to develop that user experience in the application. And then of course, media. So when we're working with a partner like RESEAU or any of RESEAU's partners, such as you all on the call, any kind of information that you have, we can actually reuse that information for other areas of training and business development. So if you have existing video and graphics and so on and so forth, we can take that media and integrate it into the application as well. And all that does is just enhance the learning experience. And then what I like to call spatial environment, we actually are simulating the earth. So we can create physics, we have gravity, we can make it rain, we can make it snow. So there's no limit on what we can apply to these scenarios to make them as realistic as possible. And again, all of that is pushed out and retained on those same hardware devices. So there's an opportunity for graduates, and the disciplines that we use, my team, and I'm talking specifically about what goes into creating these scenarios, and the team that we currently have assembled, is we're building a fully interactive development platform. So think about it as a sandbox. We have a sandbox that we're able to bring in all sorts of different touch points and put them together into an interactive application. And to do that, I find that there's five main disciplines and skill sets that are required. Programming, so whether it be C#, C++, not to get into all of them, but development and programming is very important. So computer science graduates are very important to our industry. Students and folks that are working in audio, editing, video, digital media, those types of specialists are very, very crucial and very important to our company. They help us actually create the animations and create the audio and the voiceover and the special effects that are required for these projects. Graphics artists. So if you noticed, everything was branded to RESEAU or branded to the partnerships. When we create an application, it never looks like it's come from us. We always ensure that we work with a partner's marketing organization to make sure that those assets conform to what their expectations are for their branding rules. So we have people on staff that are experienced in marketing and creating those assets so that we can work with our partners more efficiently. Folks that specialize specifically in animating models, animating CAD data, modeling objects. Those are programs that are, game development program at UBC, perfect candidates for this kind of stuff. It's a very similar kind of production. And then finally, of course, engineers, because the CAD data has to come from somewhere. So it's a very, very diverse skill set to create these applications. And we think it's a very valuable asset for graduates moving forward. What we wanted to talk about next is just some examples of where is this technology now and where it's going, and what our ongoing partnership with RESEAU is going to give them the ability to do and to offer communities. The first example I want to show is when I talked at the beginning of the presentation about merging the digital and physical world together. This is a perfect example of that. So I'm just going to start the video here. Sorry if the videos are a little choppy. We do our best to get them to stream as well as possible. So when you watch that video, and I'm just pausing it for a second, the first thing you noticed is, and I'm just going to go back here, is we've actually put an outline of the CAD model of the physical object in the application. So it has the ability to point it at a real world physical model and then recognize that it's there. Once that's there, we can actually augment CAD data on top of the physical pump itself. So in this example, you're actually seeing the pump internals, and it's linked to live data showing that there's a problem with a tolerance inside the gear ratio. So once it's detected that tolerance, immediately you get a health and safety checklist. It's like, okay, if you're going to diagnose this problem, these are the things you need to be extremely aware of so you don't get injured trying to fix this problem. And imagine being able to just have your tablet walking into a water treatment plant, pointing it at one of the pumps, and being able to actually educate operators who are not as familiar with doing these repairs with something like this, where they can educate themselves on what the procedure that, what's the actual procedure that needs to take place and how to perform it. So this is not the future. This is available now. And this is where industry is starting to go. Josie mentioned we're pioneers in AR for the water industry, but we're doing a lot of projects like this in heavy machinery and equipment, medical, entertainment, even for different aspects there. But anything where it's logistically difficult to access this large machinery and equipment, this is very, very valuable kind of training for. Another example, and this one is wearing an AR headset, so you're totally hands-free. And we're just showing an example here of how live data can actually work with real world equipment and show you where a problem might lie. So in this case, he's wearing a headset and he's looking at this particular pump assembly, and he's digging down into the pump assembly to look at live data and the operating status of this particular motor. So there's, in the middle, you see here, there's a red number, and that's a bearing, that the RPMs are fluctuating quite a bit, and there's a problem with the bearing wear. So he's able to actually pull up different aspects of what history of each sensor, what they're reporting, and he can book a service call and dispatch it to a technician directly from, you know, a digital object, a digital representation of the object inside his office. And then I believe we have two more examples. This example, when I was talking about being able to view these experiences with different hardware, this is an application that's just meant to run on your desktop or your laptop. But again, it's an application where we can actually use CAD data and real world live data to perform some analysis on existing equipment. So you can see you're seeing live flow rates for this particular assembly, and it's being pulled from sensor data. But again, it's just another way that we can retain information and help people learn aspects of their job without having to leave their house, really. And then the last one that I want to close the presentation with, I think we're at just about a half hour, so the timing is pretty good on this one, is this is a boiler room, so obviously similar to a WTP. But when it all comes together and you're able to actually link into the data of your system, this is what becomes possible. So again, there's just a tablet, and as he looks around the water treatment plant, you can actually see flow rates, temperatures, status, so on and so forth, all UpHeads information, all live and ready to go. And so, you know, hopefully you guys enjoyed the presentation. We want to show as much example as possible to see, to kind of educate everybody on what's going on out in different industries and right now. So I just wanted to close there, and we'll open it up to the Q&A session.